Goomba's so silly. Alrighty. Sorry I'm running a little late, everybody. I had to make sure everything was nice and situated. And Goomba, I see you there in the chat. You seem all kinds of excited today. Let me turn the music down a little bit. Hey Goomba, what's up? You seem really happy today. Say hello to my good friend Broken Whisk. He's a longtime member of this channel. And by the way, if you guys haven't noticed, today the Recipe Bible is not present. Today, I have a copy with a couple of changes, of course, with one of the first chocolate cake recipes that I was ever given. As a matter of fact, it's the one from Joy of Baking, and I added my own little modifications to it. So, give me a minute. Hello, country girl. What is up? It's nice to see you for a second stream in a row. Okay, so yeah, I have copied my school notes for Creme Anglaise and chocolate cake. So the Recipe Bible is not present today, unfortunately. Ah, there we go. Well, you have to forgive YouTube. It's a little weird with the music right now. The music will stop suddenly, and then it will turn to a different song. So, if you guys just deal with that. Okay, we're going to get started in just a second here. As you can see, I already have my dry ingredients prepared. That's basically what I was doing. That's why I'm running a little late. I wanted to prepare my dry ingredients, make sure everything was out, make sure I had everything laid out. So we're going to go ahead and pour in a half a cup of just plain vegetable oil. This is an extremely versatile recipe. If you don't have vegetable oil, you can use just about any oil with this recipe. I've seen people use olive oil. I don't like how it tastes, but that's what you can do. I watched the apple pie and I loved it. Oh, thank you, country girl. Thank you so much. All right. It's been probably, how long has it been? You know what? I honestly can't even remember how long it's been since I've actually made this particular recipe. It's been almost, I want to say 4 years. 4 years since I've actually done this. Let's pour that in. Now this is anise extract. If you ever taste, this is anise extract. If you've ever tasted old-fashioned candy and you kind of tasted that old cinnamony flavor, that's what this is. And for this, a little bit goes a long way. So we're just going to add about a half a teaspoon. Oh, I love the way that smells. Oh god, I love anise extract. It's like kind of like a stronger version of almond extract if you use that a lot. Alright, next we have our vanilla extract, which, as you guys know, I never measure, so whoop. And we're going to go ahead and combine that. The thing about the anise extract is that it has a very strong alcohol smell. And we want it to look, see, we want all of this to look like little, like sand grains. Make sure that sugar is well saturated. Our next goal in mind is to add our 2 eggs. Now we're going to add these one at a time. It's always good to have your eggs at room temperature. It means things will mix easier. And you always add them one at a time, because there is a such thing as overbeating your eggs, and nobody wants that. Yeah, I know this whisk is broken. It's been broken for a while. We just weren't able to get another one today. But yeah, this is about the consistency you want. Where it looks smooth if you leave it for a while, but if you mix it, it's not very smooth. Okay, next on our list is to add a cup of milk and our dry ingredients. I always use whole fat milk for baking, and I don't always spill it, but I did today. There you go. And that's about 1 cup. Now, in my big cake recipes, I usually use about 2 cups of this. Actually, what I do is what I do for a lot of my cakes when it comes to chocolate is I double this recipe, and I consult my recipe Bible and do all my tweaks and stuff that I used to have done with it. So we're gonna have our we have our milk here, which can just be poured in the sink, and we're gonna add our dry ingredients little by little. Now this is about 3/4 cups of, being a little messy today, aren't I? We'll clean up the rest of that later. I just want it off my mat. Maybe I should calm down with the wrist action. It's not Overwatch. We're just talking about Overwatch. And somewhere in between all of this, usually what I'll do is I'll take my spice blend, which is allspice, ground cloves, nutmeg, and cinnamon. And I'll just, and a little bit of cardamom. Only a little bitty pinch, though. Only a little bitty pinch. Because cardamom is extremely strong. You just dump it in there with your dry ingredients. Make sure it gets in there. Now, this recipe doesn't have to be mixed by hand, but it is very easy to make chocolate cake too chewy, as you can overdevelop the gluten pretty easily. So I just choose not to. And plus, this batter's pretty thin, so this should only take about 3 or 4 times, if that. Like I said, it's not very... This is not a very complex or intense recipe. That's why it's one of my first chocolate cakes. And if I do say so myself, my chef really liked it. You guys hear the hum of the microwave in the background. And if you have to be super careful like I'm being here, because you saw me already fling cocoa powder across the room. So if you have to go slowly at first, don't even worry about it. As a matter of fact, if you're not used to this, I suggest you go slowly first. Oh, this batter already smells spicy. I love it. Like I said, it's been years since I've made this particular basic recipe. And if you want to learn how to bake, I mean, come by my channel on Fridays. But Stephanie Jaworski from Joy of Baking has very informative videos. She teaches you about the science of everything, too. If you look at my pizza video, I teach you guys a little bit about the science of baking and exactly why baking instructions have to be followed in the way they are. All right. That tries to take my phone. Aw. Well, the puppy just wants to watch. The puppy just wants to watch. Rice cooker's done. If any of you guys are wondering what that noise is, that is my rice cooker. Mom wants dinner, so
Okay, stop.
hit the on button. I'll just go ahead and add in the rest of the milk too.
Oh, okay, I didn't put enough water.
Alright, there we go. Alright, and our last step. Is to add the titular chai tea. That's what I meant to say. You guys know I can't do words. Alright, so I'm going to use this again, but I'm going to wash it out before. We don't want all the leftover oil and milk in there. Now I brewed some pretty strong chai tea in this cup here. Isn't this cup cute? A friend of mine bought this. I think my best friend bought me this for my 19th birthday, and I still have it. And it needs to be pretty warm. So I'm going to throw it back in the microwave and put it in there for about 2 minutes. She drives me crazy though. Oh, but that's what pets are supposed to do. They're like little siblings. You love them, but they drive you insane. You know, it totally slipped my mind. I meant to put this on Twitter. So let me go ahead and do that now. It's gotta go on my Twitter. Heck. Dang it. What'd you forget?
It has flour.
What?
Enchilada sauce.
Oh, yeah. You still have salsa though.
No, but that's not the same.
Alright, I think that's enough for the tea. We can add the tea now. Now it's a little too hot. It's actually kind of boiling now. So maybe let it sit for a minute. Just for a second. What you want to do here is this is how I make my chocolate mint cake, which I also haven't made in ages. If you guys have seen my videos where I make the entrees, you guys would see the cupcake intro. Those are my chocolate mint cupcakes, and I usually make my chocolate mint cupcakes with mint tea and not with all the extracts and stuff they tell you to make it with. So we're gonna let that cool down for just a second. I'm gonna go back and put this on my social media because I didn't think ahead. I was in such a hurry. And I don't know if any of y'all have noticed, but I'm also wearing a new shirt. A shirt that I really, really like, and that I probably shouldn't have chosen to put chocolate on, but it's a good shirt. Right, there we go. Now we're up on Tumblr. I should probably put us on Facebook too, shouldn't I? On my actual Facebook, yeah. Huh? No, my personal. I don't get it. I don't. Okay. So let's go ahead and hop on over to Facebook and see if they'll let me share all this wonderfulness with us. And I know I sound different today. After all the screaming from yesterday, my voice is like dying a little bit. There we go. Social media matrix established. It's okay. Thank you, country girl. Alright. So we are going to pour this in here finally. We can just do it all at once. And it has to be warm. Okay, that's very important. This is also similar to how I make my red wine chocolate cake. This cake recipe, after a while, I've made it somewhat customizable, which I'm personally very proud of. And that'll make our batter super thin. See how thin it is? But we do have to make sure that everything is well mixed. Now, it won't be as dark as, say, when I mix it with red wine or when I mixed it with coffee, like we're going to do with Lucio's cupcake, most likely next week, or if maybe the week after that. I don't know. I haven't really decided whether I'm doing Arisa or Lucio. Right now, it's looking like Lucio. But we'll see how much cocoa powder we have left after this. How about that? Alright, and this is our batter. It's nice and thin. And what we're going to do is I'm going to set it aside for just a second. Let all those flavors kind of mesh and melt into each other, give them a little bit of space. I'm going to put my measuring cup, since it's very hot, in the fridge, because it has another purpose. I'm at a church. Oh, okay. You should probably be listening to the sermon, but sure. Alright, so we're going to wipe down our friend Green Mat here. While I let that sit aside. The thing about the tea is, you really got to let the flavor soak in there for a second. So we're going to do some cleanup. And then we're going to fill our cupcake pan. Now the oven is already preheated to 350. That's like my default cake baking temperature. But if you're feeling a little risky, or if you're not doing a cupcake stream like I am, and you don't really have to be that mindful of the time, I would suggest doing this at 375 instead of 350. Alright, there we go. Now our buddy Green Mat is all clean. And if you're really getting into baking, buy one of these. It doesn't have to be the Green Mat, it can be the Silk Pat Mat or anything. The Green Mat is cheaper though. Alright. Here we go. And we will not be needing our buddy Broken Whisk anymore, so. What's up?
Salt.
Which one?
Up here.
Alright. We're going to grab a spoon. And we're not going to use the ice cream scooper. As a matter of fact, no, we're not going to use the ice cream scooper for this. I was thinking I would, but I don't think we're going to do that today, because the thing about this cake recipe is that it rises very quickly. So we're only going to add maybe a little bit. We're not even going to put our cupcake cups halfway. So we're going to be very careful. And if I get impatient, we might use the ice cream scooper. We'll see. Because believe it or not, I am already impatient. I should just see how much I should put in here, though. Okay, yeah, that's a little over half full, so that should be fun. Alright. The virtue of ice cream scoops when used alongside But with the ice cream scoop, however, you gotta be a little more careful, because it's very easy to overfill your cupcake cups when you have the ice cream, scooper, because you don't always have to put 2 ounces into your cupcake cups, especially depending on what you have. I'm going to taste a little bit of this batter here. Mmm. Oh. Oh. Yes, please. Remember when I said only add a pinch of cardamom? I can still taste it. That's how strong it is, so, you know. At your discretion, guys. in my opinion, cardamom is what makes a chai tea latte a chai tea latte. But, you know, no one's asking me. Oh, I didn't do it in order. Oh, I just made myself mad. Alright, and our buddy, the ice cream scooper, can go away now. Alright, I'm saving this batter for something else, so we're going to move it off to the side. And these are going in the oven.
Stuff on the top there. Put my stuff on the top. That's a bad hand. I just couldn't eat it. I'm talking about your nails.
Have you your own bakery shop? No, I do not. Maybe one day down the line I'll change my mind about professional kitchens, but right now it's not really my thing. I worked in a professional kitchen for about 2.5 years, and it's, upon contemplation, was not for me. At the risk of sounding like I'm getting very soul-searching here, it was very slowly turning me into someone that was mean and loud and always tired and very, very edgy at all times. And I just didn't really like that. I didn't like the person it was turning me into. Okay, so our next order of business is to make our cooked custard, which is actually called Creme Anglaise. Now, Creme Anglaise is one of the 5 mother creams, as if there would be 5 mother sauces. Now, I think for our pâte à choux and cream puffs, I made whipped cream, chantilly cream, and pastry cream. Now, chantilly cream and whipped cream are really the same thing. Chantilly cream is just added vanilla. But this one is Creme Anglaise. This is not the hardest, but it's not exactly the easiest either. And it's kind of thin, so we're going to be scooping out, part of the cupcake and pouring the Creme Anglaise in. So I have my saucepan here, and I think I'm gonna move the camera over, like Fairgrounds or Parks and Rec. I've been thinking about taking part in our local farmer's market. Unfortunately, it costs at least $300 to do it, so getting into it's a bit difficult. Alright, I don't need to move my camera just yet. Let me turn down this music, it's a little too loud. Or I might say it's too loud just because I don't like the vocals. Alright. So I thought I wouldn't have to bring out my cutting board. If you thought I wouldn't have to bring out my cutting board for this one, you were wrong. it is. Oh, nice. Sorry about that. Had a little trouble locating the ginger I needed for this recipe. It just popped off for a little walk. Ginger is one of the most versatile things you can use in cooking. You can put it in anything and you can use it in everything. Especially if you don't like adding chilies to something, ginger is what you need. Now, ginger does have a spicy aftertaste, and that's why we will be putting orange zest and honey in this creme anglaise. And you guys know how I like to chop. And yes, your hand does hurt eventually when you do this. When it comes down to it, a lot of knife skills and cutting things for a really long time just comes down to getting your calluses and getting used to it. Kind of like playing guitar, because playing guitar or like playing trumpet, eventually it'll start hurting your lips or hurting your fingers. You just have to get used to it. You have to kind of get past that moment where you're like, wow, my hands really, really hurt. You just kind of have to kind of get over it. Now, citrus and ginger is a tried and true combination. People mostly like lemon and ginger. Now, if you guys hear that talking in the background, that's Cake Mom and Cake Dad. I think they're planning a date. I think they're very happy to get out of the house. Alright. Boom jams. Done. And if you really love to cook, buy one of these. Buy like a whole stack of these. These are probably the most useful cooking utensil you will ever have in your house. And they take like 2 seconds to wash. You don't have to put them in the dishwasher or anything. And they're Pyrex, so it's very, very difficult to break them. Now, if I can direct your attention over to our saucepan. Hey, Senpai! What is up, dude? I've seen you in Gambino's stream. Is he lost yet? How many 1v1s did he lose? I had to leave to come to the channel. Gambino knows I'm just messing with him. I know he's better at that game than I am. Alright, now let's bring your attention over to the saucepan over here. Alright. Now if you see, I already have everything laid out for my creme anglaise, so we're going to go ahead and turn on the heat. And this is why I put my measuring cup in the fridge to cool it down. Because I didn't want to aggravate the heavy cream and the milk that I have to use in this recipe. Now, this milk carton is about to aggravate me because I can't get it open. There we go. And then we also have a quick way to cool it down afterwards. All I know is that he won one of them. I had to lose two. Okay. Alright, so a half cup of heavy cream. And a half cup of milk. And you can combine them, don't worry. But they go into the saucepan. Alright, and I believe that is the last time we will need our friend, the measuring cup. Now I know the lighting is a little strange, I'm trying to fix it somehow, but I don't think I can. It might help if I turn off the lights in the kitchen. Let's see. Yeah, that actually helps a lot. Or does it? I don't know. Well, you guys can see the you guys can see the cream. That's what matters. This is all you need to see. And I'm gonna go ahead and you know what? I don't think I'm gonna dump all the ginger in here, but I am gonna dump some of it. And don't worry, we will be straining this, so there won't be just chunks of ginger. You know what? I'm gonna turn the lights back on. This doesn't look right to me because I can't see nothing. All right. So we don't need the ginger anymore, but you know what we do need? We need orange zest. So alright, just making sure that still works, because I gotta step over the live camera cord. That makes everything super weird and very scary. So I'm just gonna use a grater. I don't really have a microplane, so we're just gonna do this. And you can use your grater as long as your grater has an ultra fine plane. Some people use those citrus peel curlers. I think those things look hideous. So, you know, that's up to you. I just hate how those things look. You don't have to use it if you don't want. You know what? Some people just honestly use like a peeler. They use an apple peeler and just take off big chunks of orange zest. Make sure you get what's on the bottom of your grater too, because that's where the good stuff is. And I think I want a little bit more, so more we shall get. There we go. And once again, there's some left on the bottom here. Make sure you get as much of that as you possibly can. Alright. Hold on. Okay, the cupcakes look great. There is one thing I would like to check on though. They're still very sticky. Just making sure. Okay, so the cupcakes are baking well, they are rising well, and we are going to let this milk come to a simmer. But what's important is you add a little bit of sugar. We don't want that milk to scorch. You know how when you cook milk and there's a really weird film on the bottom? That's what scorching milk is. And we're going to use our friend Baby Whisk. So Baby Whisk is going to help us out with that. And I have an extra little stainless steel bowl here. Now, if you notice that there's condensation on the bottom of this bowl, that's because I put this bowl in an ice bath so it can cool down really quickly. Because that's the problem we had with our apple pie filling, was that it was too hot for too long. So we're going to put the bowl is cold, but then we're going to put the bowl back into the ice bath, and we're going to cool this cream down really, really fast. We're going to let it simmer for about 2 to 3 minutes, and then we're going to add our lovely, lovely egg yolks right in here. Boom. This is probably the oldest recipe, like, ever. I mean it. Like, ever. My chef, when he taught me, had already been baking for 50 years. And honestly, he was probably the best teacher I could have asked for. Now, the other ones, we'll see about that. Okay, well, let's go ahead and add the rest of our sugar to our egg yolks, because this is close to simmering. We're going to add just a touch of vanilla to our simmering cream and milk here. Okay, we're almost done here, so I'm going to turn the heat down a little bit lower. We don't want this to boil, or come to a roiling boil, or things get a little messy when that happens. Alright. Once that's done, I'm going to redirect your attention back over to green mats. Let me clean the ginger peels and ginger off here first. Okay, so this is looking good. Okay, so what we need to do once this is done, so I'm going to direct your attention, I'm going to take this off the eye for just a second, and I'm going to direct your attention back to green mat. Let's make sure the camera works. Okay, good. Let's bring our egg yolks over here and our cream mixture back here. This is a very, very important stage. And a stage that honestly will always scare me no matter how long I've been cooking or baking. This is what's called tempering. We did this with our pastry cream, but it's always a little scary for me. So we're just going to start with little amounts of what we got here, just a little bit. You take the really hot milk and that cream and all that ginger and just pour a little bit in. Now you got to be careful, or the eggs in the mixture will start cooking, and then you got to start all over again. There's just nothing else left to do. You got to start over again. Now, if you watch like Hell's Kitchen and stuff like that, you've probably seen people making hollandaise like this. In hollandaise, you have to add butter to your eggs. And then you have to, well, no, actually I said that backwards. What you have to do is you have to cook your eggs over a hot water bath. So you have to boil water. Boil it over a hot water bath. And then you have to add hot butter to it. which means those eggs can scramble at pretty much any time. Like you see at the edges here, those are slightly scrambled eggs. Now, we can save those, but they might get curly, that's why we're straining this. And basically, you want to add and add and add until it gets warm. And you can dip your finger in there to make sure it's warm. There's no shame in that. I do it all the time. You guys forgive me for a second. I can't read chat. I see it moving, but I can't read it from where I'm standing. So I'll get to that in just a second. Alright, now add a wee bit more. And now, if you check the bottom of your bowl, what you have in this bowl is warm. It's all warm. But I'm going to add a little bit more just to be safe, because I'm like that. And I'm going to return my pan to the eye. Now it's on very low heat. As a matter of, you know what? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take it off the eye. Pour the egg in. You guys enjoying that hot wrist action? There's a lot of forearm action happening in this camera, and I apologize. Basically, you whisk, and then you return it to the heat. Let me walk around here. Right here. Now, I'm going to wait for that to come to a simmer. Oh, I used to be in culinary arts, now I'm in hospitality. They're still very similar. The I also have a degree in hospitality. That's so there we go. And degrees in hospitality really improve your communication skills. At least in my experience. Okay, those cupcakes look great. I'm going to go ahead and take them out, and I'm going to let you guys look at them in just a sec. I do have to do the old wooden skewer check, though. Can't forget the creme anglaise, though. The trick is to not let this boil. But it does have to get thick. Hashtag thick. You know what? I'm going to put our cupcakes in for just a touch longer. Not much longer, just a little bit. Alright, so now that we can give this our full attention, let's see if it does what I need it to do. music seems to have died. I just realized that. I'm in 12th in high school. I can cook and bake with the books. I fail in hospitality. Oh. Yeah, the book tests are never easy. Since hospitality, it is kind of a situation-based kind of job. So, it can be pretty difficult sometimes.
But you can do it.
Did you hear that? That was encouragement from Mom. That was encouragement from Cake Mom. Say it louder, Mom.
You can do it. If it was easy, everybody would.
Yeah, where are the cupcakes?
Yeah, they're not done yet.
Oh.
Chill.
I thought I heard every time.
No, I had to put them back in the oven for a little bit. Oh, this is your last year of school, so you're a senior. You're about to graduate. My kid sister graduated from high school last year. So you're a youngin', country girl. You're a youngin'. For some reason, music still won't play. There we go. Indeed, like I said, it would just be awkward me stirring in silence. Years old. You have to understand, I'm 26. You're a youngin' to me. That's my sister's age. You can do it. I believe in you. Cake Mom believes in you too. Okay, this is thickening quite nicely. I do want to be careful to make sure it doesn't cook and curdle at the bottom. So, and since it's already thickening, it's going to be thickening really quick. I'm going to turn the heat down because it's making me nervous. Alright, now I can take the cupcakes out of the oven. I'm pretty sure they're done now. Yeah, because they're jumping back when I put my finger in them. So they're jumping back instead of sinking down like they were a minute ago. I'll let you guys look at them in just a second. But we need to devote our full attention to this creme anglaise here. And it's done. This is done. I need to give it a, hang on. Let me take it off the eye and let me give it a mix. Now, creme anglaise, the pourable custard, it's supposed to be this thin. See, look at it. If you guys have ever tasted custard or really thick ice cream, this is what it's made out of. So, here's the real test. Here's the real test of whether or not this is good creme anglaise. You see this? Our finger leaves a stripe in it. That's how you know you've got creme anglaise. Ah, it's nice and sweet and spicy all at the same time. So good. I love egg custard. It takes years off your life, but I love it. I'm not going to double dip. We'll use the other end of the spoon. And you know what? With the way it's tasting, I think I'm actually going to leave the ginger in it. Should I strain it? Should I strain it or should I leave the ginger in it?
What effect will that have on the texture?
It's ginger.
Right. You use a fresh ginger chopped up, right? I mean, will it cook and be absorbed, or will it?
No, it'll probably stop involved. Okay, yeah. After a brief discussion with Cake Dad, we're gonna strain it. I don't wanna. Maybe if we were using it for ice cream, I wouldn't strain it. But we aren't, so I'm gonna. Oh Lord, they left my strainer all the way up there. Alright, I'm gonna have to do some Indiana Jones type maneuvers to get at this thing. I was trying to find my little one, but it doesn't seem to be around, so I gotta stretch to get at this one over here. I just don't want to mess up my camera. I don't want it to freeze during the stream, and I'll be in trouble. I got it. Now, by normal means, I am not short, but I am still the shortest person in my family, so let's make sure the camera still works. Okay, we're solid. Alright, so if I can direct your attention back to, here we go. We've got the bowl our creme anglaise is going to go into, and we've got our cupcakes. Look how gorgeous they look. Nice and compact, still very tender. I love it. And then we're going to dip a wooden skewer in there, and it comes out clean. I mean, the bottom's kind of dirty, but that's because I'm pressing it down. So we're going to take our creme anglaise, that's already thickening up, glorious, and then we're just going to pour it into a bowl. And you see all these bits and pieces? That's all the ginger. And all that flavor has gone into the custard. Yeah. That's why I decided to strain it. Now this is enough for maybe about 4 cupcakes. Yeah, see? All that's the ginger I cut. And maybe a little bit of, maybe a little bit of the orange zest as well. Now maybe if I can get some of this down here. You know what? I'll just take this. This is mine.
Wish I was here to help you watch, but I got mine.
Okay. That's a lot of ginger. Alright. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the cupcakes, even though they're still hot. They still hold their shape. And they're a little dense, but if you break them apart, they're still nice and fluffy inside. Look at that. I know this one is still piping hot. That makes me really happy. Mmm. Oh my god, these are like melty. Mmm. Nice and cinnamony. I strong brewed that chai tea. I used 3 tea bags and 8 ounces of water. Okay. So 9 of these. Alright, listen guys, don't judge me. Don't judge me. But we're gonna be dipping some of this in the creme anglaise, just real quick. Just real quick. You're making me hungry. Haha, that's my job! Oh man. It's doubled with that little citrusy note. That's crazy good. Alright. I was debating to leave these in the pan. And you know what? I think I'm gonna. Yeah, this is already cool enough to be held to the touch. If you want to buy cupcake pans or baking pans or anything, buy Wilton. You see that? This is not a sponsorship or anything like that. This is from personal experience. Wilton does have a lot of unnecessary products, but Wilton pans cool down in record time. And if you're in a hurry and you accidentally grab it, there's only maybe about, I'd have to say a 30% chance that you would actually burn yourself. They cool down so quickly. So, if you're the clumsy type, definitely get a Wilton pan. Because I burn myself all the time. You guys have seen my arms. Alright, now, to cool down our creme anglaise, I have this beautiful ice bath here that I have to break apart. Come on, submerge in the ice bath. There we go. Alright, we're gonna let that sit, and then we're gonna stir it and stir it and stir it until it becomes cool. So when it becomes cool, we can easily add it to our cupcakes. Don't, as much as I like tasting it with a custard, with a hot custard, that's just not something to do. Warm egg custard gets old after a while. Not actually old, it just gets old. Gets boring. Okay, and I'll add the honey in just a second. Let me just clean up a little bit. Oh, by the way, for those of you who haven't seen the recipe Bible, this is how it looks. We're not consulting it today, but this is how the recipe Bible looks. I love this thing. It's like a lifeline. And honestly, the recipe Bible is just a regular journal. It's really nothing special. I have one for my workout regimens, too. That I've been sorely neglecting over the last few days. Okay, I'm being generous. More like over the last few months. But, you know, semantics. Semantics. Time is relative. Time is an illusion. This is Symmetra we're talking about, okay? Symmetra doesn't even believe in typical death, so... Yeah, you're right. You're totally right. sure this is like Miku Hatsune that's playing right now. Because that's definitely what it sounds like. Definitely sounds like Miku Hatsune. This is YouTube's We Own These Songs playlist, so... Alright. All I'm doing is saving the batter. The batter is actually being saved for another day, for another application. And maybe more Symmetra cupcakes in the future, we shall see. But for now, it's being saved. When you want to save your cake batter, all you gotta do is put it in an airtight container. So, Tupperware will do just nicely. Although if it's something dairy or egg heavy, you might want to lay a piece of saran wrap directly on top of it before putting it in the fridge. I might go get tacos. I support you in your going to go get tacos, Moon. I support you in your taco endeavors. Okay, you see how the texture has changed? And how it's kind of goopy now instead of it just running? But it's gotten much thicker now that it's much cooler. And why people do this, why people put their custard in an ice bath rather than just putting it in the fridge is to cool it down as fast as possible without freezing it or affecting the proteins in the eggs and breaking and with melting and eventually breaking the custard. Oh wow, it's already cold. Very good. I'm going to add it to the last bit of this cupcake here. That's what I'm going to do. That's mine now. That's beautiful. Oh, that's so good. Sorry, BRB. No, no problem. Don't take care of your business. And the best thing about an ice bath is that it's literally just water. All you gotta do is wipe down what you're using. Alright, we don't want this to form a skin. So I'm going to slide, whoops, a little bit of saran wrap onto this bad boy. Let me make sure this still works. Okay, good. Alright. Just lay that in there very gently. Okay, and that's just to keep it from forming a skin. And I am going to put it in the fridge, just so it'll stay warm. We don't want it to get lukewarm. Okay. The cupcakes are still warm. So we're going to leave those be for a while. We're going to wipe down old green mat here. Alright, I'm going to add the honey at the last minute for that one. Okay, so for the last part, we get to make our buttercream. As you guys know, always starts with the whipping and creaming of butter. I mean, somewhere, I know that buttercream is definitely not appropriate Indian fare. But it's very, very difficult to get any other frosting to crust on cupcakes. So I'm hoping that Symmetra will forgive me. Forgive me, Queen. If you guys notice that this mixer looks pretty old, that's because it is, in fact, pretty old. I love it, though. But it was pretty much old when I got it. Okay. This time I'm using heavy whipping cream instead of half and half. Pure vanilla. Unfortunately, I seem to have misplaced my scissors. Well, guess we're using nails. That's what nails are for. Alright, hang on. I can't see chat from where I am. There we go. Better. This is very intense music for what's going on right now. Intense music to the pouring of confectioner sugar into butter. It's horribly American. We're just gonna pour the heavy cream right into here. Honestly, I pour the heavy cream until the consistency satisfies me. There's really no rhyme or reason to it. I just do it until I'm happy with it. And I'll show you guys the consistency at which I am happy with it. And once again, we're not measuring vanilla because I never do. I'm back. Hello, country girl. Good to have you back. We're making buttercream now. Alright, oh. Alright. I'll put the confectioner sugar back now. Wow, that cream literally went all over my face. Okay, and I just watch this until it's at the consistency I want it to be. Not airy enough. So we're going to add a little more cream and whip it a bit harder. That was the wrong way. You guys didn't see that. Yeah, see? What you want is for it to like fall through the whisk a little bit. You want it to be able to stick to your fingers like that. See that? That's a dirty joke. Funny, but dirty. Okay, so I might add a little bit more confectioner sugar to this. Just to get it to be a touch stiffer. And it's always fair to remember, guys, be nice to your mixer. It is a good tool, but it's also not invincible. When you turn it down from a high speed like that, turn it down slowly. Don't just turn it off. It does negatively affect the motor. So just be careful. There we go. Look at that. That's what you want. You want to be able to hang it upside down, but you also want to be able to You want it to be creamy, but you always want it to... Oh, don't apologize after you made a dirty joke. You've already made it. It's already out there. Just enjoy it. Let it sink in, so to speak. Okay, so our buttercream is done. And it tastes delicious. But I was planning on making this straight up vanilla buttercream, but I don't think I like that now. I think I want to add a little bit of cinnamon to this. With the cinnamon retrieved, we're gonna drop maybe like a little bit in here. Not a lot, just a little bit. We'll say it has the essence of cinnamon. That's what chefs really mean when they say essence of. There's a nice little tang to it. That's what she said. Country girl with the memes. We're gonna add a little bit of nutmeg too. So a little bit of nutmeg, a little bit more cinnamon. Now this is going to add a slightly brown tinge to our frosting and make it a bit more difficult to dye in the end. But frankly, I'm more concerned about the taste. This beater is mine, by the way. Mine. Alrighty, now we get to say goodbye to our good friend the mixer. This thing is literally like the best thing that's ever happened to me. I love this mixer. Best friend gave it to me after her wedding. I'm pretty sure I say that in every video. I like your jokes, country girl. I like your jokes. Okay, Alright. Now that the buttercream is finished. Now you know what? I'm actually going to let these sit in the fridge for a bit longer. Because we got to dye this buttercream. So let me put up our mixer. And besides, those cupcakes would stand to be a little bit cooler. Go ahead and start putting everything back. Now we need this. That's important. Pushing everything down. Alright, just give me a second, we're just cleaning up. I'm missing a bowl. Let's go ahead and grab another one. Missing a bowl and a spoon. I could have sworn I had 4 spoons in here. But I lied. Apparently I don't. Maybe I don't need a 3rd bowl. We'll see. But we do need these 2. We don't actually really need much. We just need to make sure they're in separate bowls. A little bit of blue and a little bit of yellow. It'll go a long way. A little bit more blue than yellow. Okay. Fair enough. Over here, on the right side of my kitchen, I have everything I'm going to need, except my piping bags, which I need to go get.
We'll be back. Alright, see ya.
Everybody, say bye to Cake Mom and Dad. They're gonna go on a date. Alright, Cake seems to have misplaced her piping bags. And has to go digging. Seems like someone has been in my baking drawer. Possibly without Cake's permission. Nope, I got them. Right here. Perfect. Okay, so we're gonna put these babies right in here. Okay, we're gonna add a little bit of blue. And then we're gonna add some yellow. What in the world? Who put, whatever. Yeah, that noise was somebody putting something in the toaster. You know what, I actually really like just watching the frosting, because like, look at that. That's so satisfying. Symmetra would probably like something like this too. Now you might be asking, why do you add gel food color as opposed to regular liquid food color? Because I don't know if you can tell, but the texture of my buttercream... Sorry if I'm not talking, I'm doing the dishes. No, it's fine. This is a very chill stream, and I said from the beginning that it was going to be very short. As a matter of fact, it's almost over. So, like I said, Just relax. Don't feel pressured to talk or anything. Just chill. Did you call it? You had it in your hands. Maybe it's at Dad's desk. Okay, this looks to be like a good Symmetra color.
You throw away my drink?
Let's check, shall we? Okay, so we have this color for Symmetra. No, this needs to be a bit darker. So I'm going to add just a little bit of green. Just a little bit. And then we're going to add more blue. Oh no, this song reminds me of sad times. We're not going to listen to this song. There we go. That's less sad. I'm a little concerned about this holding its shape. So what I might do is throw this in the fridge for just a sec. Make sure it holds its shape. Because I don't want the butter to start melting. Because remember, this was whipped. So we're going to add a blue that's a little bit stronger. We're going to add a little bit of cornflower blue. I'm still not quite satisfied with this yet. Well, it certainly made it darker, but still not exactly what I wanted. So let's throw in some royal blue. I have very little royal blue left. So I kind of wanted to save it, but I'll use it. I'll use it for Symmetra. Oh, there we go. That's magical. And I think this is exactly what I want. Yeah, I think this is actually exactly what I want. Just gotta mix a little harder. Okay, let's check the picture. Nope, still not mixed well enough. Let's get that from behind the... Oh yeah, by the way, that's a picture of me and my siblings. Isn't that cute? Alright. Still not quite the dark blue color. I said I have very little royal blue, and I wanted to save it for something a little bit special, but Symmetra's special. Symmetra's lovely. Symmetra is my main. Symmetra is queen. Symmetra is bae. So we'll use this for the bae. And a little bit more green. Just a little bit. Alright, that looks like her dress. Alright, now I'm going to put this in the fridge because I don't want the butter in this to get too warm. So we're going to throw it in the fridge. Alright, now, oh, I accidentally ended up using both spoons. Well, let's just take this, and we're going to go ahead and mix the yellow. Now, the yellow shouldn't be too difficult. We just wanted it to be gold. I just wanted the blue to be right. But I do want the yellow to stand out against the blue. So we're going to make the yellow a bit bold. And we are going to line it with luster dust, so it'll stand out even more. So I'm not too worried with how this is going to look. But it's better to be thorough. It's better to be thorough than lacking, you know what I mean? See? Yep, that's a nice shade yellow. Yeah, the yellow wasn't as hard. The blue maybe, but definitely not the yellow. Okay, one thing I wanted to do with the frosting in here is I'm going to put a little bit of white dye in it. Just so it'll stand out better against... Oh, right, this is the new one. Just so it'll stand out better against the contrast of the blue and the yellow. So this is what they call white. Use it sparingly. If you have to use it at all, I would advise you use it sparingly. So I used maybe 1/4 of a teaspoon, if that. But there's already a brown tinge in it due to the cinnamon. So if it's not perfect, it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be perfectly white. It's just going to be a little paler so it'll stand out. That's all we want. We don't want perfect white frosting. Symmetra would want perfect white frosting, but not today. Too much dye, in any case, can throw off the taste of your buttercream. So, when you do dye, don't put so much where it bleeds into what you're mixing with. Because then you'll just get funny tasting buttercream, and no one wants to eat buttercream that tastes like food dye. That's why a lot of people don't eat red food coloring, because one, it has a weird aftertaste, and two, you have to put a lot in it for it to actually be red, so it tastes funny. I really don't like my own cupcakes to be heavily dyed or anything, but it is a necessary evil in some cases. Alright, we're about done, at least with the buttercream. I'm going to take this little lull in the action to clean up a little bit. We're going to wipe up our buddy Green Matt here. Green Matt's our good friend. He's a bro. So we're going to set everything aside here for a second. And I'm going to take the blue out of the fridge. Right, now that the color has had a chance to settle, it looks a lot better. Alright, so we're going to take a little lull in action, and we're going to do a little bit of cleaning up. All right. Some interesting music. I'm just washing a lot of the bigger bowls in this sink here. Little known fact about me, I do not own a dishwasher. And have not for a very long time. So everything we own, so usually every dish we own, we wash by hand. Which also means they just so happen to last much longer than most dishes. Who'd have thought it? That was a little bit annoying. That was me. Right now, by the way, since I'm here, I'm just kind of doing dishes, waiting for those, waiting for everything to kind of die down a little bit. Waiting for that color to really soak into that frosting there. While I'm here, Final Fantasy 15 is probably going to be beat by Tuesday afternoon. So Tuesday afternoon will likely be the last episode of Final Fantasy 15. Now I might come back, do the Adamantoise fight, do the Piteous Dungeon, but not in the foreseeable future. Right now, what the foreseeable future consists of, unless D23 reveals something miraculous about Kingdom Hearts, and I just have to play it right then, I'm most likely going to start Final Fantasy X and not Kingdom Hearts. But, you know, there's always a chance that D23 might reveal something astounding about Kingdom Hearts. I doubt it. The only thing I want is a release date. Because I understand why it was on hold for so long, because they had to finish Final Fantasy 15. So, I get that. I really do. Because Final Fantasy 15 has been stuck in development hell for so long. Final Fantasy 13 almost killed Square Enix and any Final Fantasy brand, so they had to worry about that as well. And then Disney had that animator strike, so I understand why it was so delayed. But now, they don't have any of those problems, everything's been taken care of, so we really need to get that game as soon as possible. I am Asia. Alrighty. So let's start lining our bags. Alright, one of them doesn't need a piping tip, but the other one does. I'm going to stuff it back in this here. The best and easiest way to take care of a piping bag is to use a cup. Okay, we're going to use the flower tip because I was thinking about the Oasis skin. This is what we're using. I really hope we get lore with that Oasis skin. I really do, because I want to know why she has that skin. And why it's called Oasis, when they already have a map called Oasis. There we go. Hold nice and tight. If you're really unsure about it, twist it. Now, some people use couplers, but we're not going to need a coupler today. One of these days I'm going to make something that requires a coupler so I can show you guys how they work. But, not in the foreseeable future. I'm going to need a knife and a spoon for this. Because with the yellow, I have to be kind of discerning. So I have to, like, gently spread it over the inside of the bag. So, right here, just on the outside. Just like that. Whoa. And then we spread it again. On the side here. Just on the opposite side. And that's it. That's everything. And whoop. Perfect. Okay, be very, very careful not to let your yellow and your blue mix. Because you don't want green. Symmetra isn't wearing green. I mean, at least not on this skin. Not our default skin, and that's what we're doing. Symmetra's default skin. We're going to add a little bit more to the upper parts here. Just like that. Perfection. Okay, and lastly, we're going to add our white, which is just going to... I think I'm going to use a knife on this one too. Whoop. Drop that in there. Be very, very careful. I mean, you're not hunting rabbits, but still, discretion is key. Remember what I showed you guys with the rainbow swirl cupcakes? This is basically what you got to do. And I know there's a little blue swirl there, but I don't think that's going to matter. Now, I say that, but it might matter. We'll see. Okay. So, that's set up. And now, for the one without the piping tip. Are you making a three-way color in one? Yes, I am. Okay. Here we have our dear little cupcakes once again. Now, these are very dense, but that's okay. They're very cold. Very, very cold. Leave that one. But then being so cold is going to make it easy to do this. Just pop out the centers. See how the centers are so fudgy? Look at that. Look at how fudgy that is. Oh, it's great. I love it. My parents love these too. Mom, not so much anymore since she's gluten intolerant. You know what? I'm just going to stick these in this bowl here. Our little cupcake cores. Yeah, this is the apple core that I used in our last episode. It's useful for a bunch of things, but mostly for taking the cores out of I keep saying coconuts. Cupcakes. Okay. Now let's bring in our dear friend piping bag once more. Let's grab another cup. And slowly take the top off of this. All right. Like I said, this is actually a very thin filling. So it's good for these cupcakes to be kind of close textured so it doesn't soak through. Even if the custard's cold, there's still always a chance that that might happen. Okay. See how it just immediately falls into the bag right there? I'm trying to find a pair of scissors, but they seem to have gone AWOL. Here we go. I found them. Someone just moved them to the other junk drawer. Okay. So we're going to cut a little bitty tip off of this. And we're just going to fill them up like that. Just like that. Nice and simple. Remember when I said that this was only going to be good for 9 cupcakes? I think I lied by accident. We'll do it on this one. This one has a good little indent in the bottom. So I'll just fill this up. I'll fill it up and see if it sets. That'd be cool. Yeah, I'm going to throw this in the freezer and see if it sets. I'll let you guys know on Twitter whether or not it does. So you got this one. This one has a hole. It got a hole in the bottom. So it's kind of too closely textured. So it's a little, it's not fudgy. It's kind of just stodgy. So we're going to see how this sets up in the fridge. If it does. But I'll let you guys know if it does. Alright, which one can we fill up a little bit more? Now that they're all settled. Let's fill up this one just a bit more. Okay. Now let's clear away some things so we can get to the real shit. Alright, we're going to line these up nice and pretty. The faithful 9 stand ever vigilant. That's what we're going to call them. We're going to call them the faithful 9. And you know what? I'm thinking I'm going to put them on my turntable. Will they all fit on the turntable is the question. there we go. Yeah, they fit perfectly. Okay, let me direct your attention a little farther up. Yeah, just a little farther up, just like that. There we go, perfect. Okay, let's move the knife and everything. So let's make sure everything's out of the way. Because this is the best part of most cupcake streams, is when you see how the frosting comes out. And right now, we're about to make that happen. It's going to look awesome. Like, see the outside of this bag? Look how cool that looks. Alright, now we're going to squeeze until we get all 3 colors. Alright, I see all 3 colors now. We're getting a little bit of green. So I'm going to squeeze until we get yellow. Yeah, okay. Oh, come on! Oh, I've got one more! No! Ah! You know what? I think we'll be fine. I really want to do one more. And I've got more than enough frosting, so you know what? I'm going to do one more. Sorry about that. My hydrant kid decided to take a vacation. Like, it was literally leapt into the sink. And I hit the like button. Oh, thank you. Thank you for tapping that like button. You know how much that means to me. Okay. I'm going to try and make one more. It's a little much, but I wish these piping bags are kind of a precious commodity nowadays, so I almost wish I didn't have to. But this is for Symmetra. This is for the Bay, so I have to. So you're all about to watch me do this with my hands, which is something I haven't done in a minute. But I don't see a reason for taking out another cup, so. It's just one, so I don't see the reason for taking out another cup. Oh, I really haven't done this with my hands in a long time. I usually almost always use a cup. But I also never have this problem. I usually never just have just one more to do, you know? There. Now it all sinks to the bottom. Going until... There we go. There we go. One last one. Right there. Isn't that cute? Look at them. They're freaking adorable. There's a little more green in this than I'd like there to be. But you know what? I don't think that matters. These are fantastic. Okay. We're going to put a little last touch on these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them in the freezer until the frosting gets hard. Alright, country girl, I'll see you later. You have a good day, alright? Alright, we're going to put those in there until the frosting gets hard. And then I'm going to show you guys how to luster dust cupcakes. Now, I'm not sure you can... Now, with my camera, I'm not sure you guys can see the sparkle, but there's going to be lots of sparkle. In the meantime, we're going to do some cleaning up, and I'm going to discuss with you the potential flavors and other cupcakes that we will be doing. I will be doing Tracer. She will be an Earl Grey cupcake with... an Earl Grey cupcake with a caramel center, most likely, and she will most likely have honey and orange as well for her frosting, but her frosting will be cream cheese. So she'll have cream cheese and orange blossom buttercream. Then there's Lucio. Lucio will be cinnamon and coffee. Most likely with a cinnamon coffee cupcake with a cinnamon roll center, because Lucio is a precious cinnamon roll that needs to be protected. Mercy is going to be, so far, Mercy's going to be white cake and chocolate. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to swing that. I'll have to write it down, I'll have to look at some stuff. I do want her to have edible glitter, which is going to take a while to obtain because I don't have ready access to it anymore because I got fired. Now if you guys want to tap that sponsor button, I'm not going to be upset. But you don't have to give it the tap. You don't have to tap. It'd be cool if you could tap, but you don't have to tap. But you know what we should tap? You should tap that bell. Ring the bell. So far, that's not the only character. I do have a couple of guy characters because a lot of my flavors are for the female characters. Sombra, I want to be dulce de leche cake, or tres leches. Yeah, I want hers to be tres leches. I have a kick-ass orange cake recipe in mind for Orisa, but I have to make sure that I can obtain all the ingredients before I set about making it. So if I can't, I'm running into the same problem that I did with Lucio, where Lucio, the store I have does have the ingredients, but they're like the giant family pack ingredients. So they're like $15, $16, which, you know, if I'm going to make just one batch of cupcakes, it's not really necessary. Now, if if I was making more than one batch of cupcakes, it would be a different story, but I'm not, so it is. Alright, all I'm doing is washing some spoons here. And then the frosting should be hard, like I said, it shouldn't take that long. It would be easier if I had an airbrush, but I don't. Besides, I don't like the fact that some people add straight up aerosol chemicals to their airbrush. People say that it's food safe, and that's fine if they think that it's food safe, but I personally don't approve of it. Like, people say it's safe, and that's fine, but, I mean, you won't hear it from me. Alright, wow, I'm actually making good time. As opposed to my last 3, where I was like, oh yeah, it's going to be a short stream. And then it turns out like 6 hours long. Y'all, that egg custard is so good, I'm not even playing. Like, it's so good. I'll be doing something devious with this frosting later. Oh my Christmas. That is so good. So good. Alright. Let's check this frosting, see if it's hard enough. Not quite. Gotta make sure the camera's still working. Okay, good. I had to move my computer. So, because we're gonna put these back in the freezer. Alright, we're just about done. We're about to wrap up here. I said, we're waiting to put the sparkle on the cupcakes because Symmetra's gotta have sparkle. Everybody knows that Symmetra has to sparkle. Now these are only Symmetra inspired cupcakes. Almost all of them are going to have swirls of, frosting swirls of some kind. And if you're wondering if I'm making green frosting, yes I am. I'm going to test this batch out to see if it matches with what I want for Lucio's frosting. And everybody knows Lucio's frosting is going to be green. Oh, whoops. So we should take all this out maybe. Maybe get one of the spoons in here and see if it makes a suitable green. Oh, so far so good. Maybe needs a little more yellow. So what do you guys think? It looks a little too blue to be a good Lucio green to me. So I'm going to add a little more yellow to this and come back to it and see what we can make out of this. I think this is a much better Lucio green. It's a bit too pale though. Like I said, I'm going to work on this and we're going to come back to it. And then we're going to have our frosting for Lucio. Put that in the sink. I can't believe that fell over. Make sure the floor is clean. We don't want any bugs thinking that that's a snack for them. Alright. Just making sure that we're wrapping everything up here. Everything's already nice and clean. I love that. When you finish cleaning and the kitchen is already clean, something that's very, very important. You gotta clean as you go when you're cooking. Because when you look back, and once you finish cooking, and then all you've got is this huge pile of dishes, it really takes the joy out of it, in my opinion. No one likes to clean a huge pile of dishes after they finish making something, you know? They want to sit down to be able to eat and enjoy it. They don't want to end up making something and then immediately have to clean. So if you want to cook for yourself, that's something extremely important to remember. Alright, that frosting should be hard by now. We're going to go ahead and add the luster dust to it. Now, we're using dry luster dust this time around, but it is important to remember, if you ever want to use luster dust to paint, that you do not need to mix it with water. It will clump up and it will be awful for everybody. So we're just using dry luster dust. Yeah. Frosting's nice and hard. One of them has a tail, but that's not important. Alright, that's why we have this bad boy. Make sure the bristles are extra soft so they don't chip away at your frosting. And we're just gonna get into the nooks and crannies here. We're just going to paint it very, very delicately. We're just going to make it shimmer. We're not going to... We're just trying to make it sparkle. I mean, this is not gold highlighter. Now, I don't know if you guys can see the shimmer, but I'll get one cupcake and I'll bring it very, very close to the camera and see if you guys can see that. Be very gentle. If you have any clumps, very gently brush them away. You don't want to chip away giant chunks of your frosting. But you are going to affect some of it. Just be careful. You don't want too much gold in the white. I just realized I turned one section yellow in this cupcake, but that's okay. But try to specifically get the yellow and green parts. It'll definitely make it look more yellow. So yeah, try to highlight all those yellow and green spots to make it as shiny as possible. And you can blow just a little bit, but blow very lightly. So just like that. I would actually recommend using a baby blower, like one of those little, pss, 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 puff balls. So remember, highlight, highlight. That's what we want. Alright. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I hope you can. You see the sparkle on the cupcakes there? Let me see if you guys can see that. Let me see if OBS will let me. Okay. Let's get back in close. Right here. There we go. Focus. Do you want to focus, camera? You want to focus? Yeah, there we go. And look at that sparkly cupcake. See another one. The center one here. You see that? Especially in the center here where they have that big yellow stripe. Let's get in close. Like super close. There's a little bit of fudging there, but that's just the frosting. That's not a clump of that's not a clump of dust, I promise. Yeah, there we go. Let's bring the whole plate close. There we go. Now the camera's focused. These are our Symmetra cupcakes. Now, the best part is we get to eat. I've already had dinner, so I'm not worried this time. See, they're kind of petite. I didn't pour very much into the, yeah, they're kind of petite. I didn't pour very much into the cake pan because I was really afraid that they were going to rise, especially with the chai tea. But let's take a bite. Mmm. 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 I just hit that custard center, y'all. Give me a minute. Oh my god. Holy Christmas. Hang on. I added a knife to show you guys. Alright. Let me get a knife to show you guys the center of this cupcake. I didn't want that creme anglaise to go all the way through. But see, look at that. That eggy custard in the middle that just kind of drips down. You see that? I'm gonna let the camera focus for a minute. But look at that. Alright. Now, tomorrow at 2 p.m., and maybe even a little bit earlier, we will have our first horror game stream on this channel. You guys have convinced me, against my will, that I will be playing a horror game on this channel. I will be playing Until Dawn. I will not be playing the whole thing. I will get as far as I can take. So, I don't know. It depends on who dies first. So, yeah, I will be playing Until Dawn tomorrow at 2 p.m. Fair warning for those of you who can't take blood and gore. That is a bloody, gory game. So, yep, you guys will see me tomorrow. Bring your blankets, bring your earplugs, because there's going to be a lot of screaming, hollering, and shouting to Jesus, because I get scared pretty easily. I just thought y'all should know that. I'm going to take one more bite. Custard. It's so good. I love creme anglaise. It's literally the best thing about this cupcake. Alrighty, guys. Here's what I'm going to start doing. When it comes to these baking streams, I'm going to start posting every recipe I use on Tumblr. So be sure to follow it. Now, some of these recipes aren't mine. Everything, I think, almost everything has been mine except for the creme anglaise recipe, which I used, which was from my textbook, and the pastry cream recipe. That was given to me and made by the man who taught me, the chef who taught me how to bake in the first place. Okay, so tomorrow, be ready. horror game Until Dawn. Tomorrow at 2. I'm going to regret this so hard. I will see you guys tomorrow, and pray for me, okay? Because that's gonna be some business. All right, I love you guys. Stay weird, lovelies, and most of all, happy eating.